want to talk about something a little more practical that you can apply to yourself. And this helps with sharpening your mind and making it so you can understand reality a little better. Now, this is an old technique and concept. It's been around for thousands of years. It's called fasting. This is something that I have done myself before, and it has had noticeable effects on my mind and on how I have perceived the world. The first time was when I was a teenager. I was maybe 16, and I think I fasted for a week, and you wouldn't believe the results that I had. A lot happened, and I'll go into greater detail on that, but I would like to go into something I've written. So, fasting is a release. So, if sin or this idea of making a mistake or doing something wrong is this holding on or trying to remain the same, then the inverse or accepting or letting go and changing is basically the opposite or accepting death of the current self or identity. This is what life is. This is the essence of life. And to fast or to go without eating and, try and not sustain yourself as you are is life. Um, to fast is to not to seek replenishing of the old self or to take a time to be comfortable with letting yourself starve off. It is internally a message we slash I are dying off is essentially what fasting is because it's how we sustain our life. Most eating that we do is not necessary for survival. Long periods of time can pass without food. Now, this is not me telling someone that they should do something that might not be healthy for them. If you have some type of health condition where a doctor has told you otherwise, you might want to talk to them first. Eating constantly, though, is more about an overprotective survival to take every opportunity to supply nutrients and calories, um, maintaining the highest probability of survival. It's what we're inclined to, is to constantly optimize for survival. And um, this being said, our natural inclination is to eat food when it is present, even if we do not need it, and to also consume the food that is the highest and most calorie dense food whenever it is available. This is an inclination not to live, but to fend off death. When fasting, you take the time not to focus on survival, but on change and growth. When fasting, your body begins releasing growth hormone to rejuvenate cells. A process called autography begins. The literal pruning of the vine and your very DNA. What is stagnant is removed from both your mind and body. Eating constantly is considered a sin and often called gluttony. When you feel hungry and anxiety begins, your very body releases cortisol, a stress hormone, and puts your mind in a state of stress and anxiety. People become disgruntled and begin to feel as if they are being attacked. This is not an abstract sense of being attacked. Your very body is attacking itself by removing weak and dying off cells in your body. A part of you is being killed off and is sensed and internalized in your very body that it is being attacked. A part of you is facing death. This can cause a low anxiety level at first that locks you into a subtle fear, a fear of not wanting to die off. But if a person can push through this, they are training their soul not to fear death and revitalizing their very body at the same time. In a state of autophagy, your body enters ketosis. burning fat as a primary source of energy. Fats actually have more energy within them than carbohydrates and are more efficient operating your body and your mind once your body has switched into a fat burning mode. In this state, people's minds become clearer and sharper due to more energy becoming available and less processing of resources spent on digesting food. This is a subtle subconscious messaging to the mind that you are enough and you have abundance within you. This restructures your perception to one of not scarcity and fighting death, but of acceptance and peace. Peace that in the middle of your pain, you are okay because you are enough. This rewires your brain. If an individual can push past 3 days of no food, the mind begins to rewire, accepting and understanding that it will live without the constant need for food. Now, ghrelin is a hormone that is produced in the gut to signal the mind to provide food for the gut to process. After 3 days of no food, this chemical is decreased in its output and the body begins to eat itself. Self pruning. This is not cannibalistic and chaotic. It is a very methodical system. The body has an inner wisdom. The first to be consumed is the fat cells stored in the body that have been stored for this very purpose, supply of energy or food, right? The next is damaged cells that are putting out junk and are damaged cells. And they are recycled for use elsewhere. This reduces the risk of cancers because damaged cells often work improperly and are prone to, when replicating, to make more mistakes in copying DNA when making new cells, which can lead to cancers. The very act of letting go allows the fear of death to pass within us and causes our body to clear out the repeating sequences in our DNA vine, our DNA vine. It's funny that DNA kind of does look like a vine if you were to unravel it, which is also a reference into, you know, um, the New Testament. Um, to prune and get rid of stagnation. So life is adding to complexity, not repeating a static noise. The message is added to, not diluted. This is only the physical manifestation of overcoming death. Fear holding on to is the same, right? So overcoming death is a fear which causes us to hold on. It is when we let go that we grow and are able to accept what is new in reality. This process is reflected in all aspects of life. Not only is fasting positive and purifying to the body, but also to the mind. When attention and focus is removed from survival and seeking what keeps us as we are, focus is shifted from the subtle fear of death and to present surroundings. Noises and sounds become clearer and louder. Colors become brighter. Smells become stronger. You know this. When you become hungrier, the smell of food becomes stronger. It becomes irresistible. Now, if you can hold on to this state of fasting for a time and tune out and let die off the urge of hunger and fear of death, these heightened senses will remain. And with focus removed from seeking food, you will begin to focus on what is happening around you. You will notice systems, processes, and events around you better than you did before. You will notice yourself and become more aware and more conscious of your actions. Insights on why things are happening will become apparent to you. Some will argue this is because your body is trying to provide to you the highest faculties needed to for you in order to solve problems so you may find more food for survival. And this would be naturally logical. But we have a special opportunity as humans where we can store up food and intentionally not eat. Where in times past, the only time you would not eat was due to scarcity. It would make little sense to decide to not eat when you could have the chance. But now, with our conscious minds and plenty of abundant food, we can now intentionally and consciously decide to fast and take benefit from the heightened faculties and focus that we are derived from not eating, and dedicate with intention the time we fast to learning and bringing to wisdom into our life and better perception. This time of fasting should be set aside time with set aside purpose. When done, you would preferably like it to last past the stage of when ghrelin is being produced and when a sense of calm begins during your fasting because you have become used to it. This is when real magic begins. Take this time and pray. Set an intention and feeling. Ask your creator for direction and sit quietly and thoughtfully in silence and seclusion. Take time to read thoughtful books, and as you go, write your thoughts and meditations down. Practice breathing exercises, and at night you may not be able to sleep. It is more than likely that your body is not used to having so much energy from fat burning, and your brain is running very efficiently. Take this time when in the quiet of the night, when everyone is asleep and all is still, go and look at the sky and the stars. Listen to the wind and the animals that are awake. There is deep knowledge and wisdom in these things. You will see them with a crispness and clearness you have never seen before. Sit for a time, talk to God. You will never forget it. You will be inspired. You will be wiser and healthier. When you come out of fasting, give thanks for your time doing so. Praise your Creator and write your thoughts on the moment. Break bread when you take. So, break bread, and when you take your first bite, um, try not to savage it, but eat it slowly and savor the food. Appreciate it, pay attention, how it makes you feel. Do all of this without making a big show of it. If you share you are fasting with others and talk about it the whole time, you are really robbing yourself from the experience. You have the opportunity to use your heightened focus and perception on higher things, and you are wasting it on bragging and complaining. Be humble when you are done. You may notice a change. Your perspective on food may not be as lustful. You may not be as quick to eat all the time anymore. You now know that it is not a big deal to eat all the time anymore. You may naturally prolong how often you eat. You have rewired your mind. You are now more comfortable with death. Do this from time to time when you need to grow. Make a practice of it at least once a year, I would say. So that's all I've written on this topic. I see a lot of people did pop in and give some messages. Yeah. Sorry I didn't quite get to you, but I was trying to get through all that I had written down. So the first time I had fasted, I think I was a teenager, and I did it for about a week. And it was strange because um, it made me put my focus more on reading, and it made me realize how much of my time a day I was wasting satiating urges and whatnot. Also, the bigger thing too is I noticed how much I wanted to complain, which was a big deal. I wanted to go and tell other people about it and get sympathy and all these things, but I really didn't need to. And because of this, I realized that I was not comfortable with being in this unsatiated state. It was very rough, and it caused me to notice how much fear I had within me. So that was the first time, and I would say that it taught me about myself, which was powerful, in that it made me learn that I needed to focus more on how to be able to put off things that were, not a requirement, but an urge. It gave me self discipline. So, anyway, no one has any questions. I know this is a live, trying to, you know, new thing here, doing a video where, I mean, it's scripted, but there's no cuts, no edits, just seeing how people want to interact with it. But for now, that's all I really have. If no one has any questions, and I'm going to move on and do the rest of the things I need to for the night. Thank you guys for watching. Those who did make comments. I'll catch you again some other time. Till then,